So na yedi bi esomo se kase na some yedi ba na de edi makotene ebi ene se judges anase a lawyer for and penifo a womo ete case a yeto abawie ye penifo atabiri ede ekọ Supreme Court no one judges woma akasa a omde ato edwasen semtrefo enye se omo hunhuna omo nemom ene press conference omo ye no mo kire mu se omo ema no kredie na afi so ntwumedi a omo edi no omo betimi a criticize judges nemom so omo di omo atem ne de ene de omo nyimfrim.
Tomorrow the court won't speak. When judges speak, that's the end of our role. It's not our place to get into studios, into debates, and to explain. That responsibility falls to you. Let's be circumspect about vile, improper, unfortunate language.
We'll be right back after the news.
Asra kesian komo bibia sene nyumren so maje peni amode mofidie ato A24 radio. Ebredu sen sama eje ne homena ewo omemu asei di aboabo no fra no pabre no ebepem samre di ato din trending news no ene nyumre yesi nkonwa na yede bi esomo ensema yede ba abesomo na dosun ye pa na mom di edima kotene no ebi ene se ene dai Supreme Court ko atenase no ensem a NDC de koda wo no omo abo ni nyina egu a wo mo echirim se asem papa bi aniwa efrimu ebaaye.
Conclusion. We conclude this judgment by emphasizing that the petitioner did not demonstrate in any way how the alleged errors in unilateral corrections made by the first respondent affected the validity of the declaration made by the chairperson of the first respondent on the 9th December 2020 as already stated in this judgment. The petitioner has not produced any evidence to rebut the presumption created by the publication of CI 135 for which
Chief Justice and Motene Nkano na sanso na nsem yi ebeto odwanom penifo pi na akasa fasa ensem no eho yebeko NPP for akache Sami Awuku akasa fa on se sa verdict we enye sabre na NPP for omobedi ehrusie na chese womo ede ehuru womo nuanom omowo NDC nemom womo nka womo ho emom na chese ene democracy ena ye nkunimdi for ewo sa verdict a ekopie ewo Supreme Court no.
Appeal to the millions of the NPP supporters out there that democracy has been the winner today.
Sa enso ena Ghana for dodo na enso na nsem yi chese womo se dem si ete no ebise anyi womo wakra se dem nsem no proceedings no na ekono no mnim se ya na beye.
It is unfair.
Whatever they say today, we take it in good faith.
Ya to aba why also we do I don't say we just say we go court. The first one be this so honest.
They given a unanimous decision tells that justice has been served, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, if it had been like what we saw in 2013, then
Sa enso ena NDC for akache lawyer Amaleba na ojinamu bi edema petitioners no on legal team no wode atodwa se omsem ye ne enwumrei nonum brenum ena Ghana mampeni dada His Excellency John Dramani Mahama odin sem ne nyina ebeto eja.
I heard the judgment delivered by the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we are unable to address you now. We shall, however, address you through our flag bearer at 5 p.m. at his office.
San enso ena wamo munim de efa emransem ehon yewura Bobby Bansen e de atudwa se nsama ekoso no na chese petitioners no omonsem no na problems so ho ye papa.
Long for the petitioners to have decided to go to court and then informed their supporters that we are in court, let's start the process. And I believe that allowed a lot of the dust to settle. It was able to diffuse a lot of the tension so that we follow the process. Unfortunately, or the truth is that the moment the petition was filed and the
Sanso and a lawyer Kojoga Adaudu, one also a member the man NDC on legal team no they are to just NDC. One said Daniel surprise to be a ruling on.
Will be said by the former president.
this evening, and we didn't want to be a speaker or say what he's supposed to be saying, take a shine out of what he's saying. So that is what we are all waiting for. That at 5 o'clock, we will hear the former president speak on the issue. We are not too much surprised. As the waiting.
Samson, a lawyer Fraser, one also a lawyer at the Emma NPP one legal team. No, they are two just a strategy on the remuno and on a boa or more papa.
Observing what was going on in court. Even those who didn't have maybe some legal mind, you still couldn't have expected anything better than what the Supreme Court has delivered. And it's instructive to know that they spent close to 2 hours and they give valid, grounded legal reasoning for the ruling or the judgment which they delivered. Every argument that have been raised by the petitioners were properly dealt with. The authorities were cited to show why each one of them didn't merit the reliefs that they were seeking. So we're excited by
Sanso and a Bebremo was ministerial vetting on some summer echo source. There be some more ewo FDA so another kai say parliament or ma approval say any pamiensa minority ready to just any idea say womo eye dwuma so mo you know. Omukokoto aba ema omumienu nyina atimi apase asese yaje womo atum as ministers na eno ena nsamtrefo woma omudintintiman ewom bi te se manase womo nyina de woma no atum bia womo echim se ye ne eto aba ede ema empanifo no se ya keka ye ho na ya ndimante bibia emfiri womo ho a ene se ya ena ebekoso yenya bibi papa bia emfiri womo eso
would want to publicly condemn it just because they know that there are consequences for that particular instance or action. So until we get to that point that the leadership, those of us who appoint the leaders get serious, we shouldn't expect anything much.
And same way, I have na mo some for the donk and the yes sinkunya we fidie so ayede some more modernghana.com Zeno Radio so and a tuning social media platforms ni nyina a Facebook ni YouTube kan wonom okọ wonom ansem yi etwagu wonom a ya bone bede ede egu wonom King David sa enso ena menua Prince ena afei menua Papa Smiley pani oka yen ho ono so aso ya sena ne dey yede ensem no esomo na afei yenjebre na ensem ekopie mu ewo Supreme Court no yenfa ebi ensomo bus afia twemu no ne da etwa eto ne bosum etwa ato ne da etoso enson me kire 7 December 2020 na Ghana yeni ayedi enfie edun ocho a chese ya drum da ofan no ye je pene koto santene awia ne nsuo mu koto aba eyi o mampani sanso na mrase bedwafo 275 na ye wie ye no na chese ese efata se electoral commission ye de tumi amom se ensema ana se tumi ye de amom ni wo declare the winner na eno no de betu dwa se NPP amayekuo no wo na edi enkonim ewo mu ena o kiremu se sene ensem no esi etie enie na nadodan kwa kufu ado ne NPP for wo na ye enkonim difo ewo presidential no na emom eba parliamentary na pai tata a enya asem keto akra na emom independent candidate ba konetimi ebowura mu na eno ena NDC for wo mante wo ho ase omtabri asem no kopie mu ewo court na court nsensem no mu ena mpanifo tena so afia ewura mu bosumi ana edikan no ne ye bo no kakran na eba bedru se enedai bosumi da etoso enan metre bosumi miensa ne da etoso enan 4th March 2021 na se abano ho sensem ne manso a na eda ho ni nyina no yetimi ba ne ye be waso ne ye be kirem sade esitie na eno ena enedai aba betodwa se asema NDC ene John Dramani Mahama de kopie mo e court no court kirem se asem no mo hase asawa etese atentenhuo enunti kwadu a wode ebo electoral commission ene second respondent NPP amanyekuo no emo ha papa yenti one claims anase one evidence om de baye no emo hapa anti yegituma enye yenti na nadoda kwa kufu ado sede electoral commission ejina ne tumi so declare one bosomi etoso bo edu mieno ne de etoso enkronom emuno sa pepepe ena constitution no ema ho kwan na afen so Supreme Court judges no etena ase no wonyina edi adanse se ensema NDC ene John Dramani Mahama edebeda awo no emoha na tese any merit bia yentie yewra Chief Justice wa bra odesa ensem no etudwa wokasa ye papa ebreninti yebetwa so na de hia no yetimi aposo tawtaw ede ama tie4 yentie ensem a yewra enim yeboa Justice enim yeboa ekan
of the petition. However, assuming the vote padding of 4,693 took place at all in favor of second respondents as alleged by PW1 in Exhibit F, this court will then have to ascertain its impact on the final results declared by the first respondent. Indeed, evidence on record clearly showed that the impact of the alleged vote padding, even if proved, would have been very insignificant and would not have materially affected the outcome of the elections. It would therefore not have been a proper ground for the annulment of the 2020 presidential elections. This is so because if one deducts the alleged votes added from the total valid votes obtained by the second respondent, he would still have crossed the more than 50% threshold required under Article 63 Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution. This fact was established through the co-examination of PW1, Mr. Sebin Ketia, on 1st February 2021 by counsel for the second respondent as follows. Question. The original figure is 6,730,143. Subtract from the 4,693. What do you get? Answer. You get 6,725,720. Question. What is that figure as a percentage of 13,121,111? Answer. 51.295%. So you see that even if you were to deduct your alleged padded votes from the votes of the second respondent, he still crosses the 50% plus threshold. Answer. I disagree because samples cannot be subtracted from another population figure. We observed that PW1 from the above extract was merely being evasive, since it is obvious that if you take away the alleged padded votes of 4,693 from the total valid votes of the second respondent as at 2nd December 2020, as shown above, the second respondent will still have obtained more than 50% of the total valid votes cast, satisfying the threshold of Article 63 Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution. On this issue, we are settled in our minds that the allegation of vote padding, though serious in an election set at the presidential election, was not proved by credible evidence. Furthermore, even if the vote padding took place, same was not material or substantial to change the final results, so declared by the chairperson of the first respondent. In holding that the impact of the vote padding, if even proof, could not have affected the declaration, we are emboldened by the decision of Lord Denny in the case of Morgan versus Simpson, 1975, 1 Queen's Bench 151, which was cited by counsel for the petitioner in his closing address. We are observed, however, that counsel for petitioner only referred us to only one of the three propositions articulated by Lord Denny. In that case, Lord Denny summarized the duty of courts in making declarations upon hearing election petitions. He stated three propositions as follows. 1. If the election was conducted so badly that it was not substantially in accordance with the law as to elections, the election is vitiated irrespective of whether the result was affected or not. 2. If the election was so conducted that it was substantially in accordance with the law as to elections, it is not vitiated by a breach of the rules ruse or a mistake at the polls, provided that it did not affect the result of the election. 3. But even though the election was conducted substantially in accordance with the law as to elections, nevertheless, if there was a breach of the rules or a mistake at the polls, and it did affect the results, then the election is rescinded. All of these propositions are read as a whole. The combined effect of the proposition is that an election will be voided upon the occurrence of infractions that actually affect the votes of the citizens cast at the polling stations, and not the incidents of administrative errors and or mistakes committed by officers charged with the conduct of such elections. We find this same sentiment expressed by our own eminent jurist, Adinya JSA. In the first presidential election petition, is Akufo-Addo and Andes versus Mahama and Andes. Number 4, 2013 Supreme Court of Ghana Law Report, Special Edition, page 73 at page 237 to 238. Her ladyship had this to say. Quote, courts usually apply the election code to protect, not to defeat the right to vote. Public policy favors salvaging the election and giving effect to the voters' intent, if possible. The right to vote is at the core of our democratic dispensation, a principle I've affirmed in this opinion with reference to the Tenadi and Hamina Okansi line of cases. End of quote. Conclusion. We conclude this judgment by emphasizing that the petitioner did not demonstrate in any way how the alleged errors in unilateral corrections made by the first respondent affected the validity of the declaration made by the chairperson of the first respondent on the 9th December 2020, as already stated in this judgment. The petitioner has not produced any evidence to rebut the presumption created by the publication of CI 135, for which his action must fail. We have therefore no reason to order a rerun as created by the petitioner as a relief F. We accordingly dismiss the petition as having no merit.
Nature sense sama John Dramani Mahama ne NDC recorder Supreme Court no Chief Justice Nim Yeboah atwansem num tinton time say merit bia eni sa ensem num ti omo adismiss case no na asem yi ebeto odwa no ene eboprin NDC won lawyers ekukudama omtime ekopie mu ebie yenim se obi etise yewura chikata okopiem bi wo honom sanso ena amaleba ena afin so Dominic Ayini wo munyina ene wo mokekeka ho same jamfi munyina ka ho ebi na eno ena chese ababetojwa omo echiremu se ensem no esi etie enie na Supreme Court ede asemi ebetojwa no ena amaliba echiremu se esese die womo enkasa na nonum ya ebo yeyi ena John Dramani Mahama wode ne nsem ebabeto ejwa.
I heard the judgment delivered by the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we are unable to address you now. We shall, however, address you through our flag bearer at 5 p.m. at his office. I therefore entreat you all to carry the media to the flag bearer's office at 5 p.m. at Cantoners. That is all we have for you, and thank you very much.
Ano Yera Abraham Amaliba weye member ede Emma NDC ana petitioners legal team na chesenya semketo akra ewo ehonom na Samia Uku enso ede tujwa se ensem no ekoye no man konkron Ghana yen democracy no ena chese aye winner ewo ehonom to NPP ni na sa wojiwani a hwehunu sa unua NDC ni wonko enkohye na bufuo na emom sa otofi bi ana okoku bi ena wakoto a wode jiwani a na woni unua achen fefefe na afei wabwa na nado ko Akufo-Addo memfie na ya man konkron Ghana de ama womo wamo etimi ede abo ejuma na afei 2024 omu lazy boot ede ehia sa election because one so
appeal to the millions of the NPP supporters out there that democracy has been the winner today. There's no need to engage in extreme
provocation of your brother or sister on the other side. Bring him or her closer. Share your coke that you have. Share your little drink that you have. Let the person believe that the beauty of this game is that you win today, you can lose tomorrow. You lose today, you can win tomorrow. All of us, let's work together. Support Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP to deliver on this mandate. And then in 2024, we'll lace our boots for another epic contest, which I believe we will win once again.
The amount gray ye fair and say, and ne, Ubesre or China, Ubesun, and nobody kunim or China. Mubedi encho eno ne ma agrono eye fentifa omwanyina ebua na nado danko Akufo-Addo na djumedi ade ahye ne nsa no wontimi eni so enkuni mo my konkron Ghana same ewuku ene yete ne nka ewo honom na ensem ne sise a chese ye komia mia ahodo okohwe sede ensem no esi etie honom supporters no manage a omo eje anase omo ra aho na yeto yensa efrens amtrefo ewa santimantem ene omo edi enkomo fa sede hye no esitie na Koshe kasafuni outdoor so John Dramani Mama okopie mo hono ma na chese efekeke.
It is unfair.
Whatever they say today, we take it in good faith.
So they given a unanimous decision tells that justice has been served, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, if it had been like what we saw in 2013, then you would have said, okay, they had some amount of a case, but unanimously they're saying that the case should be dismissed, which means that the petitioner could not prove in any way that there is a case. So I think the unanimous decision goes a long way to tell. And in fact, we've really made history as a country, and it's really going to go a hard way to deepen our democracy.
So far, from the beginning, from the genesis of the case, you saw that Mama lost, but he was forcing. But still, we all know that he has lost. So the judgment is the best.
I feel pity because this is not the way that I expect it. I went there to vote peacefully and to choose a leader. But this is what we are observing now. And it is unfair for a country Ghana by this time have to be fighting for just a simple issue like this. Yeah. It is, I'm not delightful about the process.
As compared to that of Akufo-Addo, you see the more difference. There's a more difference. Now the petition got a person, the vice president, come and sitting as the petitioner. This one, the petition says they don't come in. What the witnesses? How will this be? So personally, I think they just went there to sustain their support from the NDC party.
They are the highest people in Ghana here that when we have a problem, when we go to them, they are the last hope for us. So whatever they say today, we take it in good faith.
Yei Ghana phobia na dey no mobo enkomo efa vetting no na yewra Kojoga Adaudu ono member de ema NDC on legal team no they are two agents ensem no said you see so na NDC womunye all that surprise na said ensem no esi so no na chese womo ewojide sen enka omubetumi edi enkunim de nenso ankoba ne sa na asema esi omunye all that surprise ne nsema mo kanyina no John Dramani Mama de betudwa edi ama womo
will be said by the former president this evening because I was saying what he's supposed to say, take a shine out of what he was saying. So that is what we are all waiting for. That at 5 o'clock we will hear the former. We are not too much surprised as the way things turn around. However, I think one of the consolation or things that we take is that when people were saying that we have no case, there is nothing, there's no cause of action, I think it was made clearly that you can challenge the validity of the election. And if there is validity of the election, it is the constitutional instrument that has been made. That is what you will see as prima facie as the election.
election. And that's what we were saying, that it was not done properly. For us, I think everybody is clear that yes, we had a case, we took a case. It is the view of the Supreme Court that we did not demonstrate or did not have enough evidence. That's why they are dismissing the application. Now, the downside for me, and maybe for the team, is that we didn't, Ghanaians have lost, and I think have not some reforms that would have been made if all the parties were able to say, or the national commissioner, the chairperson, would have told Ghanaians the process by which she was able to go through to come out with the PI 135. It will, even if they are saying we are talking about the administrative things that they are talking about, that it shouldn't be the full round. I don't think that is the essence. We did not say that it is administrative error. We are saying that there was error. There was no collation. So if there was going to be
this petition
any time for collation after election, when the polls closes at 5, and the results start trickling in, is there any time frame for collation? There's no time frame. And one thing that I have picked from this election means that when I go to the collation center or polling station, when the results are being declared, I won't take any instruction from any person, administrative person or official who is erring. And that will mean that if you will not also listen and do the right thing, we'll have settled it down there.
Okay.
We will settle it there. We won't even go anywhere again. Because it is my duty to make sure that I am there and I'll have to perform my duty. So any errand or erring administrative officer, returning officer, like has happened in Tekima, nobody's going to take it and say that we are going to respect the rules of the law and say that we will take it for administration to be a result or to take it to the court. That is one of the things that we should have spoken about it and have reform when it will happen.
Kojoga Adaudu, where legal team member at the Emma NDC Amanyukiono and answer one legal team no na lawyer Fazer and so and also a member Fazer Ibrahim Sise a lawyer at the Emma NPP one legal team no and also a kasai efa jumedi no no say okay so there fala akra de ma womo na one strategy omo use ye no ade bia eboa womo ye papa na okore se jumedi yi ekoso Supreme Court sensemi ekoso na fe ne de calculator binum kuta makola calculator na omo de bo na omo ti film omo cutting film cutting film no omo kohwe na chese asabesi se nana danko akufado ogina mu de ma NPP wenye 50+1 ye nyina ye de kopiem e court na chese NDC fo omo hu ye ba kokora na eno eka ho bi na case no omo etimi fa no fala
actively observing what was going on in court. Even those who didn't have maybe some legal mind, you still couldn't have expected anything better than what the Supreme Court has delivered. And it's instructive to know that they spent close to 2 hours and they give valid, grounded legal reasoning for the ruling or the judgment which they delivered. Every argument that have been raised by the petitioners were properly dealt with. The authorities were cited to show why each one of them didn't merit the relief that they were seeking. So we're excited by it, and we believe that the strategy that we used worked, and it had to work, because if you observe what was going on, I have said on many platforms that the star witness, Honorable Asidun Kitia, anybody who had spent some time to listen to the cross-examination conducted by lead counsel on our side, the very effective, dynamic senior Akotompa. If you watch the cross-examination clearly with an objective mind, there is no way you could have said that the petitioners hadn't fallen foul or falling flat with their case, because
you're saying it makes
determined was whether there was a cause of action, and that is a preliminary legal objection that we raised, and the rules here 99 allows for respondents in the matter to file suit, and we submitted our legal arguments, but the court said, well, in view of the fact that one, the petitioner is making an allegation that the EC didn't follow certain provisions of the Constitution, clearly it's a constitutional matter, and so you cannot say that because there's some weakness in the argument that he's making, and so we shouldn't go into it. So they based on they made their ruling on that particular issue based on the fact that it is an allegation of provisions, an allegation that some provisions of the Constitution have to be followed.
That required
the fact that you've looked at it and you assess that what they are saying is weak shouldn't be enough. So that's the reason why they went into it. But as far as they show the difference between the two. The second part, which is the petition proper, why are we in court? We are in court because one, the former flag bearer of NDC for the 2020 election has said that nobody obtained more than 50% of the valid votes. That is why we are in court. And that is the allegation. That is the primary issue for the court to address. So if you say so, then it's an obligation on you as the person making that allegation to produce evidence to support that. That is the simple work you are supposed to do. If you fail to do that, and your own witness comes and he's given a Makola calculator where he churns out figures and he keeps declaring at every point in time that Nana Adodam Kwakufo-Addo is the one who has obtained more than 50% of the valid vote, then clearly means that you shouldn't have even come to court in the first place.
Okay.
Yay, Ibrahim Fraser. Sise ono mranim ni ede ema NPP amanyukuron legal team no eno no so de sa ensem no eto edwa Bobby Banson enso private legal practitioner ono so ede ato edwa a wo chirim se o hwe case no se de sikoye o fe wani hwe ne han a na che se NPP na NDC a womo petitioners no womo nsem am de koda court no na che se womo ewo hawo na how hopa na sanye wode agent polling stations ahodo sa enso na collection centers ahodo no went me fa pink sheet ama na fei na akobusa nipa one no asem no se onfa the pink sheet emra ye nyina ade bia ekire pefe se na chese NDC amanyekuo no anase omde nsem no koda court no petitioners no na omo enye ready kra na ochirem ese na ohwe omo agent no so normal na chese omo eda na dia eno so edi adanse pefe se na NDC amanyekuo no kra no na womo enye krado na ka so musua bibi every 2013 election petition no na so ekoye hwebuada omo amfa hwe enfrimu.
For the petitioners to have decided to go to court and then informed their supporters that listen, we are in court, let's trust the process. And I believe that's allowed a lot of the dust to settle. It was able to diffuse a lot of the tension so that we follow the process. Unfortunately, or the truth is that the moment the petition was filed and the petitions, as they've come to know, the evidence were not attached by the petitioner to show exactly the figures that they were relying on, then you realize that they had a problem because you see, you go to court, the burden of proof is on you to prove on the balance of probability in a civil matter that indeed your case is more likely than not. The Electoral Commission, which is the respondent in this case, they have declared the results using the pink sheet that they said was available to them. If your case is that the figures came out by the EC's reports or declarations is different from the figures that happened on the ground that were on the pink sheets, then the burden will be on you to provide evidence contrary to what the EC had declared. And these pink sheets were available to the NDC from the beginning because they had representatives at every single polling station. They signed the pink sheets, and from 2012, that was one lesson that we all learned, that elections are won or lost at the polling station. And so if you are not able to provide the evidence or you sign onto the pink sheets, then unless you are able to prove any form of illegality or fraud, then you are stopped from alleging something that is different from what is in the pink sheets. And that was the big lesson from the 2012 election petition. And so once they filed their petition without attaching those pink sheets that would show figures that were different from what the Electoral Commission had declared, then every objective person knew that they had a difficult time after the matter had begun. And you see, because of the rules that govern the election petitions, you could not amend your petition once you file to change the base of your case or to introduce evidence which was not hitherto accommodated by your pleadings, contrary to normal civil action.
Yeah.
And so the petitioner then had a very difficult task. Once they filed the petition and laid the foundation, they did not attach those evidence. It was very difficult for them.
Osanso de tuja say court ye call ekoka emra na ye kwa akoka mra yi no hu se wonsem a wo ka no wo fact e wo ehon ye so sorry ya na wo say me court there be
they are coming by case to law. Justice is not administered in a vacuum. Justice is administered within the ambit of the law, so that there will not be uncertainty with what is justice and what is not. So if you decide to ventilate your grievance using a particular procedure laid down by law, then you must abide by all the terms of that procedure. And that requires that if you go to court to allege any fact, the burden is on you to prove. Now, we should remember that the EC was not on trial for administrative errors. And I think that we must make that very clear. The EC was not on trial for administrative errors, because you cannot go to the Supreme Court and then say that there were administrative errors by the Electoral Commission, so the EC should declare as such. Sorry, the court should declare as such. No, you went to court because your position was that presidential elections have been conducted. The results that were declared are not the results that you had, or are not the results that should have been declared.
Okay.
And so you have to come and tell us what the results that you had, or what in your opinion were the results that should have been declared are. But to do what?
Okay.
To say that, okay, this is how we conducted the elections, pin sheets are signed, they are transferred. All those things were put in an EI, which were passed by Parliament, submission by the Electoral Commission, before we went to the vote. Right. So the Supreme Court was not the forum, or the forum rather, to ventilate grievance.
Enye Supreme Court ene correct administrative lapses. Yeyi eye ensema lawyer Bobby Banson enso enye bo nkomo no auditor yen enim enu ada na de beto mo enim se ukohwe ministerial vetting no omo de beto dwa se minority no omo ede atudwa se kojo opon sanso ena ye ma me hawa kumsen ena afin so yewra akoto osai enya de da se minority for no beji atum ama womo ababe ministers na omo kotwe ntonto e wo parliament Nentontonum no ena chese abato no ebe wiye no na hawa kumsin NDC fo no bi kura atwa omo kura akoto aba ama no sa enso ena kojo opon kroma ne akoto se nyina omo ato aba ama oma wo nyina etimi apase out asese ame no kase no yetimi ama omo aye ministers ewo omem ha sei na eno ena Ghana fododo na ade omo ano esi ensem no a omo kapase na ede enkura na wo se yehwe so ede eto aba na ebi HSM penifo eto aba ama womo no se ya mfa yeni anhwe womo ama de o se womo ye no womo anya ene omanyi se ya na ebesi akọ nya de se ebenya bibi papa bia ede afri womo Manase Azuri eye nsem training ono ene de science nsem yetodwa.
You are supposed to have a mind of your own. You are not going there as just a programmed robot. So the party should also respect your opinion and your wisdom and your intelligence to be able to do what is right. So if in the wisdom of the appointments committee, there are members there, Ambrose Derry, Dominic Nitiwu, and also Kandapa, had gone through and then they passed, I don't think it was right for the party to say, go and change it. And I think it is also a serious dent on the integrity of the members of the committee to have done what they did, because at the end of the day, they are expected to stick to the reasons they gave. But if you decide to just play according to the emotions of, I find some of the social media people, NDC social media people, saying that, well, they killed their party members, they do this, so don't approve any of the security ministers. So I think that is very unfortunate. But with the way things go, it is difficult to expect anything meaningful from our leaders until those of us who elect them get serious with the kinds of accountability we exact or extract from them, because at the end of the day, every person is not an angel. If any of us is put there are certain things we may not do, but there are certain things that we may be expected to do which we may not do because it may make us feel uncomfortable. So at the end of the day, the kind of pressure, the kind of expectation, the kind of accountability that our leaders get from us would dictate what they will do. In the US situation, there are some people who vote or who support certain causes and they know that they will lose the next election. Today, I'm not sure any MP will stand on the floor of parliament and say, look, I support gays, I support lesbians, I support transgender and all those things, because they know that their citizens are very united when it comes to this single issue. So even those who support it would either shut up or they would want to publicly condemn it, just because they know that there are consequences for that particular instance or action. So until we get to that point that the leadership, those of us who appoint the leaders get serious, we shouldn't expect anything much.
Manasseh Azuri and Tenenka Ewo Ehonom. Now, away from veterinary course or any emu and sense, I'm not any enchimo ewo and woman Ghana Education Service. They about to just say, you know, my offer as any ma or more area school, JHS no on placement no abasona and no and our fund to donate himself or more Emma Dodona and to me and yes school to another day, Ukopiem ewo and crime baby education office no ewo our more a placement no. Naturally, say, "Wama boldra was adding no more my school, not school, or my be nothing. So baby, I do a more a toy and ya dear so or more any so any natural say penny berry pa or more echo boom come fast. So I natural say, do my four or no, then no my dainty a more ye papa. Then so my make Cassandra chum ample for no more 80 and come on Cassatra or much say or more a bit too and among afasa and seminal number or more my school no so ya pay one more a day one more ako school I would bet so and crana one more any school kwa na omo entimi kono so omo ahwe asesa ede ama womo Stephen Mantia odi atudwa se ohwe yewura domlivo nensem a nana santibedi atuo kire krata tenten de beto nanim se na nko senko okọ retirement afie twemu no na wanko eniti omo hwe se obekọ retirement no eye ade bi a ha adwene ye pa na akabo so mebe miensa ama domlivo akọ retirement na ye share no ema okọ leave na sa ense ya ye share no ekọ leave waba na oba beto aso a asante bedi etuo na afen so umpenifo a wo aban so se ne chenchenchen se ne tama so eno nti wonko pension na no na Steve Mantia a wono civil service organization outdo e wo mema say no mo the pressure e si aban so mo dwumadi o mo edi no toten no ode ato edwa se ne ensem no ekoye na ha adwene pa na wo hwe domlivo a wo hwe ekon etia keta asese dream ene enoma enkoye ma oman no enkan konso intimacy no eno na domlivo ekro etia eno nti wo ma omo empese domlivo ebekon ama oman etimi SCP esita no ena womo asori ede etia bani yewura domlevo ewo ehonom no na yenyina ensemi so ne fa ene trending news ne nyina ensi nyame adoma ochina dia kam bia so yede beba beto mo anim na yehwe se press conference a koso efa NDC hono ye ninyina efa 2020 aba eto ye no ho sensem ho efri one frank tufo aso ye no ye hwesen kede bi ebe somo na so ye ntumi nyame admo china de akamu bia so ye beba be somo ewo afidie yi esomedin ede edo edonko papa smiley sanso na King David ene afoforo ene tibi keka no ma si ani ma ene trending news ye successful aseda kese enkoma mo nyina ye domase ema monitor ade nyame admo china de akam bia de beba be tomanim ewo afidie so ya kramon good night.
Understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Intisako, Ziatindanara, Yami Boshayano, Yami Betianate, Yaba Bom Yakanodo, Reobe Fabiara.
GhanaGospelSongs.com, strictly gospel music downloads.
So, Maba Ufia hey. Na, I mean, sure, be pass. I want my client say, and I pay so no. Member on us. Na face and pane. Chachila Hodua. Onyamidi Adomino. Mefama onyame adehye anapa se utie mi a above all storms Harbor Center na utie mi na mi yimpa ye ese nyame dom se dwade ko we no na wa yishira pa itrisrawo udofo bi odon pa no unu ebi aprasem pa no misraw se mamadia na fa telephone na frɛ no na kajare se onia ensempa pii ho mai no good news bi ma o eleti miwania na fa bi no eto ha na ono so enye nhira bebre pa na minim se Jumadi enko we no na unia no so odofo no so wayen hira yie pa enoti Where they above all storms herbal center. Our my London or Himakrum about this way. And then another issue so no. Medopo yaba on Asia. Eno ba ye ebe kasa fa pomodin church hu. Na me de modidie pa se. Yade a wanante ho a enkoda no. Be sigmade nwe kwawie no. Na ho ato na onya yaje onya yaresa. Na nkudie sunkum so aya ode apa. Yo. We above all storm herbal center. Now, other folk tell me. Obiana and then da utie media nyina. You can say above all storms so. Na say asochi bi problem bia no. Sa asochi no edin. Edi ni abra no ehim. Ana nyame fa yeso e de oje ne krudie emma nyame ade hye. Na emma ayaresa. Na oje bi ene krudie bi eye onyame ma edea. It is an appeal with him there. Na why in sha say what do you feel to her? Me pacho my mama number see. Ye number see didi bia nyina amfa ma. Na nso what me ayisra ewi a oha bia la obia no. Nso so afre na bebi a obia no. Etimia posu edure bia bro. Ama on setimi aka fe ama onya oje na onya yaresa na onya nkrumdie sunko pa. All of our team na pay. We are above all storms herbal center. Above all storm herbal center say. Fa what's on your name dying? Your number here. What you mean enya? Aye 0044 744 049 3822 044 744 049 3822 044 744 049 3822 0044 744 049 3822 and I'm between 0044 74 66 40 9